Welcome to Philosophy Decoded, where we explore timeless wisdom for modern life. Let's decode today's philosophy. You own too much, and it's making you miserable. Not because possessions are bad, but because everything you own takes something from you. Time, energy, attention, mental space, freedom. You have to maintain it, store it, organize it, clean it, repair it, worry about it, protect it, move it, and eventually, replace it. And all of that takes energy you could be spending on what actually matters. On relationships, on experiences, on growth, on creating, on living. That's the philosophy of minimalism. Not about having nothing, about having only what adds value. And ruthlessly eliminating everything that doesn't. This isn't new, this is ancient wisdom. The Stoics practiced it, Diogenes lived it, Buddhist monks embody it. And now it's coming back. Because people are drowning in stuff. And they're realizing it's not making them happy. Here's the problem. You've been taught that more is better. More money, more stuff, more options, more success, more everything. And you believed it, so you accumulated, you bought, you collected, you filled your house, your closet, your garage, your life. And then you looked around and realized, I'm not happier. I'm just more stressed. More overwhelmed, more trapped by my own possessions. Because every possession is a commitment. Everything you own is a thing you have to deal with. And the more you own, the more you have to deal with. Until your life becomes about managing your stuff instead of living. That's what minimalism addresses. Not stuff itself, but the relationship with stuff. The realization that owning less can mean living more. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome. And he spent time every day practicing poverty. Sleeping on the floor, eating simple food, wearing plain clothes. Why? To remind himself that he didn't need his wealth to be happy. That he could lose everything and be fine. That his possessions didn't define him, didn't complete him, didn't make him who he was. That's freedom. Freedom from needing stuff. Freedom from being controlled by possessions. Freedom to lose everything and still be okay. Diogenes took it further. He owned almost nothing. He lived in a barrel in the marketplace. He had one cloak, one bowl, until he saw a child drinking from his hands. Then he threw away the bowl. He said, "A child has beaten me in simplicity." That's extreme. Most people don't need to live in a barrel. But the principle is valuable. Every possession is a burden. And the less you carry, the freer you are. Buddhist monks practice this too. They own almost nothing. A robe, a bowl, a few personal items. That's it. Everything else is temporary. Borrowed. Let go. Why? Because attachment causes suffering. The more you own, the more you have to lose. The more you fear losing it. The more you worry about protecting it. The more you're controlled by it. Minimalism isn't about suffering. It's about freedom. Freedom from the burden of owning. Freedom from the anxiety of protecting. Freedom from the prison of possessions. Here's what this looks like in practice. You open your closet. It's full, packed, overflowing. You have clothes you haven't worn in years. Clothes that don't fit. Clothes you bought on impulse and never wore. Why are you keeping them? I might wear them someday. I paid good money for them. They're still good. I might lose weight. What if I need them? Quote, those are all excuses. The truth is, you're keeping them because getting rid of them feels wasteful. Feels like admitting you made a mistake. Feels like losing something, but you're not losing something. You're gaining something. Space, mental clarity, freedom from decision fatigue, freedom from visual clutter. Minimalism says, keep what you use. Keep what adds value. Get rid of everything else. Not because stuff is bad, but because every unused thing is taking space that could be empty. Free, light, or take your schedule. It's full, packed, overcommitted. You have obligations, commitments, things you said yes to. And now you're drowning in them. Why did you say yes? Because I should. Because they asked. Because it seemed like a good idea at the time. Because I didn't want to say no. But now you're trapped. Your time isn't yours. Your energy isn't yours. Your life is filled with obligations you don't actually want. Minimalism applies here too. Not just to possessions. To commitments. To time. To energy. Say no to most things. Keep only what adds real value. What aligns with your priorities. what actually matters. Get rid of everything else. Not because you're antisocial, not because you're lazy, but because your time is limited. Your energy is limited, and spending it on things that don't matter means you don't have it for things that do. That's the core of minimalism. Less but better. Fewer possessions but ones you actually use. Fewer commitments but ones you actually care about. Fewer options but ones you actually want. More isn't better. More is just more. More to manage. More to worry about. More to distract you from what actually matters. The Stoics called this preferred indifference. Some things are preferable to others. But they're still indifferent. They don't make you happy. They don't make you good. They don't give your life meaning. So having them is fine. But not needing them is freedom. Minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about intentionality. About choosing what you own. What you do. What you commit to. Instead of just accumulating. Most people accumulate by default. They buy because they can. They say yes because they were asked. They keep because they already have. They never question it. Never choose deliberately. Never ask, does this add value to my life? Minimalism forces that question. Does this possession add value? Does this commitment add value? Does this activity add value? If yes, keep it. If no, get rid of it. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. Here's what happens when you do it. When you get rid of the excess. When you clear the clutter. When you keep only what matters. You have space. Physical space. Mental space. Space to think. Space to breathe. Space to create. Space to live. You have time. Time you were spending maintaining stuff you don't use. Time you were spending on commitments you don't care about. Time that's now yours. You have clarity. You're not overwhelmed by options. By possessions. By obligations. You know what you have. You know what you're doing. You know what matters. And you have freedom. Freedom from needing stuff to be happy. Freedom from being controlled by possessions. Freedom to lose everything and be okay. That's what minimalism gives you. Not poverty. Not deprivation. But freedom. The freedom that comes from needing less. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." You're probably not poor by any material measure. But are you free? Or are you trapped by your possessions? Trapped by your commitments? Trapped by the need for more? Minimalism is the way out. Not by having nothing, but by needing less. By choosing what you own. What you do. What matters. Less but better. Fewer but more meaningful. Simple but intentional. That's minimalism. That's ancient wisdom. That's freedom. What can you let go of? What are you keeping that doesn't add value? What's taking space that could be empty? Answer those questions. And start removing. Not everything. Just the excess. Just what doesn't matter. And watch how much lighter you become. Here's the modern twist. Minimalism isn't just about physical stuff anymore. It's about digital clutter too. Your phone. Your apps. Your subscriptions. Your notifications. Your feeds. You're drowning in digital possessions. Apps you never use. Subscriptions you forgot about. Notifications interrupting you constantly. Feeds pulling your attention in 1,000 directions. Every app is a commitment. Every subscription is an obligation. Every notification is a demand on your attention. And all of it adds up. Until your mental space is as cluttered as your physical space. Digital minimalism says, delete ruthlessly. Unsubscribe aggressively. Turn off notifications. Curate your feeds. Keep only what adds value. Remove everything that just takes attention. Your attention is finite, more valuable than money, more valuable than time, because attention is where you actually live, where you think, where you create, where you connect. And if your attention is fragmented across dozens of apps and feeds and notifications, you're not really present anywhere. You're scattered, distracted, overwhelmed. Minimalism gives you back your attention. By removing the excess. By keeping only what matters. By creating space to focus. To think. To be present. That's what minimalism offers. Not just empty closets. Empty calendars. Empty minds. Space to breathe. Space to think. Space to live. Seneca practiced this daily. He'd imagine losing everything. His wealth. His status. His possessions. And he'd realize, he'd be okay. He didn't need any of it to be happy. To be himself. To live well. That realization is freedom. The realization that you don't need what you think you need. That you could lose most of what you own and be fine. That happiness doesn't come from having more. It comes from needing less. Try it. Pick one area, your closet, your schedule, your phone, your subscriptions, and remove half. Just half. Get rid of what doesn't add value. Keep only what matters, and notice how you feel. Lighter, clearer, freer. That's minimalism. Less is more. And freedom comes from needing less. And that's the wisdom behind it. If this helped you think deeper, subscribe for weekly explorations of philosophy and meaning. Thanks for watching.